We have another RocketBlocks mini lesson today with a focus on structuring during your case interview. As context, today's video will focus on the 4 most common mistakes we see candidates making during interviews, as well as how to fix them. To do this, we're actually going to share 2 answers to the same case prompt. The first answer will include all 4 mistakes being made, and the second one will show you what it sounds like when all 4 mistakes are being addressed. For this video, I'll be using 2 important controls to help illustrate these 4 mistakes. First, I'll be responding to a non-business case prompt. This will make it easier to hear what these mistakes sound like, even if you don't have the specific context yet or business acumen built up to understand what it might sound like in an actual consulting case interview. As a bonus tip, practicing structuring with everyday problems like this is a great way to build your natural frameworking skills. If you do this often enough, it just becomes how you're hardwired to think, and it'll be easier to think of a structure when you get into the room during your interview day. The second control is that I'll be using the same 3 sub-buckets for each framework. This way you'll be able to hear how, even in situations where you have the same answer down on your sheet of paper, the outcomes in your response can sound wildly different if you address these 4 mistakes. Let's get into it. Here's our simplified case prompt. 4 of your friends from school are meeting you for dinner in your city, and you need to help pick a restaurant. As context, Allison, Bruce, Charles, and Danielle joined 4 different firms in 4 different cities, and the 5 of you are meeting up for one night only in your city for dinner. Let's assume the following information was revealed during clarifying questions. We know for constraints that Allison's birthday is in 6 days, Bruce is a vegetarian, Charles is a self-described foodie, while all others are more casual diners who enjoy dining out, and people get equal enjoyment from all cuisines. And we've narrowed it down to 4 options: a steakhouse, Spanish tapas, a Michelin-rated French restaurant, and the city's most popular burrito spot. How do you decide where to eat with your friends? I want to look at 3 buckets here. First is cost, and I want to start by thinking about the per capita cost per entree to figure out really what is going to be the main driver of overall cost for the meal. Second, we can add in what the cost will be per dessert. And when we combine those 2 things with something like the cost for drinks, we can really come up with a complete and total cost model that's going to help us understand the overall cost of the evening. Second is going to be the cuisine. So I want to think about which cuisine is going to be best. And what I'm going to do is look at some third-party aggregators so that we can be very data-driven and come up with what is the right place to eat for this meal. And then finally, I want to look at atmosphere. And I think there's an opportunity here, and potentially even we can synergize with our look at the cuisine. If we put out a survey with our friends, we may be able to come up with which is the best location for both cuisine as well as for atmosphere. And we can ask everyone what they want to do. As a next step, I think we might want to start by looking at some of that data that we might have available. Let's talk about the 4 mistakes I just made and how to correct them. First of all, I didn't explicitly state how my structure would address the question at hand. Normally in a case, you'll spend a few minutes thinking of your structure after you ask a couple of clarifying questions. When you come up for air after that pause, your first couple of sentences are absolutely critical. It's your main moment to connect your understanding of the problem with your approach for how to solve it. And many candidates fly right by and say, I want to look at 4 buckets, which is a completely generic phrase that has nothing to do with the case or your structure. Second, each bucket should be more than just a list of ideas included in that category. Every time you open up a new section for your structure, you should be able to explicitly state how investigating that section is going to help you solve the question at hand. Remember, it's not a book report. You're not just collecting interesting ideas and saying things that are true within each category. You're aiming to find things that are going to help you and your client make a decision. Each category should independently be pointing at one answer or another as part of your case. And when you're done with each category, you should be one step closer to making your decision than you were before. The third mistake is not using the case information and your own intuition to help inform the way that you're presenting your structure. Remember, you're not presenting in a vacuum. You're thinking about how to solve this specific problem for this specific client. You've been given some information during clarifying questions, and you have some instincts coming in as well. You should be using both of these as you're developing your structure. And finally, you need to make sure that your tone is that of a colleague that's helping to build conviction and collectively solve a problem with your interviewer. Many candidates will come into an interview and think that they need to sound like a person they saw on YouTube, and so they reach for $5 words when a $1 word will do just fine. Remember, it's not a presentation. It's just you and one other person helping to solve a problem. Here's how we can decide what restaurant to go to next week for the reunion. We already had a short list of 4 restaurants, but I think we can narrow it down further by looking at atmosphere, cuisine, and price. My initial recommendation is Spanish tapas, and I hope to explore that further in these 3 categories. The most important consideration is atmosphere. I want us to be able to talk to each other, enjoy shared food, and multiple courses over a few hours. Specifically, I think the burrito will be too casual and too fast for what we're trying to do. I also think that the Michelin star restaurant might be too fancy. This night is about us as friends and not the restaurant as an experience. That leaves the steakhouse and tapas place as candidates. The second area I want to think about is cuisine. Luckily, we all like most cuisine, so most options will work. That said, we know Bruce is a vegetarian, and while steakhouses often have good options, we're likely to see a better veg options at a tapas restaurant. The exception here would be Allison, as it's her birthday coming up, so if she's got a strong preference, we can defer to her. Lastly, I'm thinking about costs. Since we're all employed at consulting firms, we should be able to afford most restaurants. That said, a Michelin star French restaurant is likely to be very expensive, which could rule it out, especially since, again, we're not explicitly chasing that experience. As a next step, let's check the reviews for atmosphere and ambiance at each of the restaurants and see if Allison has any specific requests. Let's talk about what went right that time. First of all, we started the response with a clear explanation of the problem and the goal of the structure. We're choosing a restaurant for the reunion. Importantly, I also included a hypothesis that says this is what I think the answer is before we get into further analysis. Secondly, each category explicitly addressed how to solve the case. We know what a correct answer looks like for each bucket. A good atmosphere is one where we can talk and hang out for a few hours, and that's what we're looking for. Cuisine is open, but can't preclude Bruce. Cost isn't likely to be a factor unless we're in the extremes. Each of these categories clearly informs you how we can make a decision and what I'm thinking as a candidate for how we're going to solve this specific case. Let's use an actual business case as an example here. Imagine that you're thinking about whether or not to invest in a new factory for your manufacturing client. If you're looking at costs, you should make this connection explicit. Saying something like, my second bucket is costs, is relatively weak and doesn't connect that bucket to the overall problem. But if you were to say something like, we're going to look at costs, and if the upfront costs are too high, we're not going to make the investment, is a stronger way to open up that specific category. Third, I used case information and outside knowledge to inform my structure. Atmosphere is first. We're 5 friends reconnecting for a reunion, so it makes sense that the space we're interacting in is the number 1 priority. Financial is last. We're all working now and can conceptually afford to go out to dinner. And I'm using real examples from the case where needed along the way in my structure. The final correction was on tone. This answer sounds like a conversation you might actually have with a friend or a colleague, rather than a business presentation on a fake stage to no one. If you can't explain a business problem simply and clearly, you don't actually understand what you're talking about. That's it for today. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, be sure to subscribe, as we're constantly releasing new mini lessons and mock interviews. And if you're serious about your case interview prep, come to RocketBlocks to subscribe and get access to our concepts, drills, peer marketplace, and full case library. Good luck and have fun casing.